Good morning students. Let's start with new topic atmospheric pressure and wind system of chapter atmosphere. In this video today I am going to explain you about what is atmospheric pressure, what are the factors affecting atmospheric pressure, major pressure belts, and what are the factors affecting direction and velocity of wind. So let's start with the meaning of atmospheric pressure. The pressure of air exerted on the earth due to the gravity is called atmospheric pressure or air pressure. Atmospheric pressure is maximum at sea level. Its weight is 1034 grams on 1 square centimeter area. Instrument used to measure atmospheric pressure is barometer. Barometer are of two types, aneroid barometer and Fortin's barometer, and we know aneroid barometer is light and we can carry barometer anywhere. Atmospheric pressure is measured in millibar or MB. So the unit of atmospheric pressure is millibar. What is isobar? Line joining the places having equal atmospheric pressure at the sea level is isobar. Iso word stands for same, bar stands for pressure. As there are so many other terms related to this, isotherm. Iso means same, therm for temperature. So line joining places of equal temperature is known as isotherm. Now, what are the factors affecting atmospheric pressure? The very first factor is temperature. Even we can include here latitude also. As we know, if I will just explain you with the help of latitude. So we all know low latitudes means Tropic of Cancer to Tropic of Capricorn, that particular zone, or we can say near equator, that receives direct sun rays. As a result, the temperature of that area increases, and if the temperature increases, so the air also become warm, and we know warm air always expand, and if the warm air expand, so it means low pressure, low atmospheric pressure will exert there. And if we'll talk about the poles receives, North Pole and South Pole receives slanting sun rays. As a result, low temperature is there, or due to low temperature, so the air become cool. Cool air never expand, so cool air that become dense, and as a result high pressure exists over there. Next factor is altitude. What is altitude? Height above sea level. As we know, height increases and temperature decreases. But here if we'll talk about the pressure of air is maximum near the earth's surface due to the gravity of the earth. As the gravity of the earth pulls the air molecule and gases towards the ground, so the lowest layer of the air becomes densest. So this dense layer of air exerts greatest pressure, and if we move upward, if we'll go upward, so gravitational force will be absent. So as a result, atmospheric pressure will be less. There will be low atmospheric pressure. Next is rotation of the earth. As we know, when earth rotates west to east, the speed of rotation that is maximum near the equator. So what is the effect of the rotation? When the earth rotates, that air present near the equator, that will be deflect from original position. So if the air deflect from the equator, so definitely low pressure will be there, because air exert the pressure, but if air will be deflected due to the rotation of the earth, so there will be a low pressure exist toward the equator, and the air, after deflection, the air gets accumulated near that next belt 30 to 35 degree north and south. So there high pressure belt will be formed. Next, water vapor, or we can say even humidity also. As we know, if we'll talk about here, the moist air exerts less pressure than dry air. Why? As we know, the moist air is lighter than the dry air because water vapor, water molecules are more present in the moist air, which is lighter than the dry air, because nitrogen and oxygen, these two gases are predominant in dry air, which is heavier than the water molecule which is present in moist air. So that's why moist or humid air is lighter than the dry air. Next part is major pressure belts. There are 4 major pressure belts, that is intertropical convergence zone. We can say equatorial. Here this belt is equatorial low pressure belt, which is also called doldrums. Doldrum word stands for calm belt. Here we can say the wind, absence of wind is there. There is lack of wind, so that's why this belt is called calm. Now next is this near 30 degree north, near 30 degree south, there is subtropical high pressure belt. This is also called horse latitude. Next is subpolar low pressure belt in both the hemisphere, near 60 degree north, 60 degree south. And the last one is polar high pressure belt near North Pole and South Pole. So these are the 4 major pressure belts. Now we have to learn all these belts one by one. So if I'll talk about this first one, equatorial low pressure belt, also known as doldrum. This pressure belt starts from 5 degree north to 5 degree south. Now why there is a high pressure in why there is a low pressure in this belt? Because it is called equatorial low pressure belt. So why there is a low pressure here? Because sun rays directly fall over here. If the sun rays directly fall over here, then the temperature will be high. If the temperature is high, the air becomes warm, and warm air always expand. So if the warm air expand, it means there will be absence of air that creates low pressure region. So this is about the first belt. Now see here, equatorial low pressure belt, as I have told you in the previous slide, it starts from 5 degree north to 5 degree south. Low pressure exists here. Why? Because sun rays vertically fall over here, and as a result high temperature will be there. So there is an inverse relationship between temperature and pressure. If there is a high temperature, pressure will be low, because the wind present in this area become warm due to high temperature. The warm air expand, and as a result low pressure will be here. Feeble wind, very light wind. Doldrum means zone with no winds. Calm belt. Next, subtropical high pressure belt. This subtropical high pressure belt that exists from 25 degree to 35 degree latitude in both the hemisphere, or we can say around 30 degree north and south. High pressure exists in this belt. Why high pressure? Because as I have told you, in factors affecting, the speed of rotation is maximum near the equator, and when the wind get deflected due to the rotation of the earth, so the wind gets collected here, or even due to high temperature when the warm air expand and the hot air from equator, so here it cools down, and even due to rotation also the winds get collected here, accumulated here. As a result high pressure exists. This belt is also called horse latitude, as it is considered as a myth. But what is the explanation behind this? During the colonial days, Earlier, the people, they used to think that during colonial days, the sailing ships used to carry horses from Europe to West Indies. But due to the absence of wind, the ships were forced to unload their cargo of horses in the open sea. This unloading of horses helped the sailor to make their ship lighter and proceed further. So these latitude is called horse latitude. Only the sense is, due to the absence of wind, the sailors they used to throw the horses in the water bodies to make their ship lighter so that their ship will proceed further. And this is considered as a myth. There is no scientific explanation behind this portion. Next is subpolar low pressure belt. Subpolar low pressure belt extend from, we can say that it's around 60° north and south, and we can say this belt lie between 55° and 65° north and south, and roughly 60° north and south. Low pressure exists here. Why low pressure exists here? As we know, which factor is applicable here? Rotation. So when earth rotates, so due to the rotation of the earth, the wind get deflected from this side, from this belt, and as a result low pressure exists here. So we can say cyclonic storms occur in this belt, and this is the belt where we can say low pressure exists. Next is polar high pressure belt. Polar high pressure belt that just near around the North Pole and the South Pole, 90° north and south latitude in both the hemisphere. High pressure exists in this belt. Why there is a high pressure in this belt? Because this belt or this part of the earth receives slanting sun rays. As a result, there is a cool temperature, or due to cool temperature, cool wind, cool dense winds will exist here, and cool wind never expand, so cool air exerts high pressure over here. Now, what are the factors affecting the direction and velocity of wind? The very first one is pressure gradient. So first we have to understand the meaning of pressure gradient. The difference of pressure between any two places is known as pressure gradient. As I have told you the meaning of isobar, the imaginary line joining the places of equal atmospheric pressure. So if the isobars are closely packed, so that shows the steep pressure gradient. If the isobars are not closely packed, are far away from each other, then it shows low pressure gradient. Steeper the pressure gradient, higher is the speed of the wind. Last is Coriolis effect. What do you mean by Coriolis effect? As I have told you, when the earth rotates west to east, so due to the rotation, the force will generate, and which force will produce Coriolis force. And due to Coriolis force, the wind deflected right in the northern hemisphere and left in the southern hemisphere. Why the winds get deflected? Due to the rotation of the earth. And what we call this, when the wind get deflected right in the northern hemisphere, left in the southern hemisphere, this is called Farrell's law. Farrell's law states that due to the rotation of the earth, winds get deflected right in northern hemisphere and left in southern hemisphere. This is all about what is atmospheric pressure, what factors affecting, and what are the factors affecting atmospheric pressure, and the velocity of wind as well as direction of wind. Thank you, students.